All right, if you're like me, you want to give your kids an advantage as much as possible. And the way that we're going to be doing that is through this informative paper that we have here for this particular video. And if you're talking colleges and careers, you might want to listen in. Come join me. All right, for this first one, I'm gonna start off with the careers first, the career journey, and this one's called My Career Journey. On this particular paper, it's going to be, again, an informative paper where your student is going to be able to choose which college or university that they would like to attend, or even maybe even trading school that they would like to do some research on. And in here, for this particular packet, there are instructions for you, the teacher. I'm going to go over some of them right now just to kind of help you out with this. After you have the instructions, you have what's called part one, and in this part one is where they put their first five different careers that they are interested in looking at. So this is preliminary research. They're not going to dive too deep into this. They'll just choose 5 different occupations that they're interested in, and then they'll do preliminary research on that. Now, once they do that preliminary research, then we go through a process where we narrow each student down to one occupation. Now, in this process, each student is only able to have that particular occupation. So there's no duplicate that is allowed in this process, only so that you don't have any, it kind of minimizes any copying of any sort from somebody else, right? So just so that you're aware. So in order to do that, let's say for instance, we spend a day, or not really the whole day, but we spend some time looking at who's going to do what. So as a whole class discussion, we talk about who wants to go first. That person's going to basically raise their hands, you'll choose a student, and then they'll say, okay, I want to be a doctor, for instance. Okay, well, let's narrow that down. What kind of doctor are you looking at being? If nobody raises their hand for doctor, because you're going to ask who else wants to be a doctor. Okay, you'll have a couple of them. Okay, well, let's narrow this down. What kind of doctor are you looking at becoming? Okay, if there's still a multitude of people of being that particular occupation, then you're going to give them the ability to talk it out with each other while you move on to the next one, right? Once they decide who's going to give what, because obviously 1 or 2 people or however many people are going to have to relinquish that particular occupation to only one person, and then we move on, and then we look at the other, maybe one of the other 5 they can choose, one of the other 4 that they have left over they can choose from. But once that's done, then you move on to part 2, and in part 2 here is your actual research. So the research itself is going to be done onto this one, and once they are done with the research, then they can move on to the next part. Now in this part 2, there's a lot of great information here that your student is going to be looking up as far as the typical duties, what the difference is between a wage and salary. They're going to look at what kind of growth opportunities that the occupation has. So it makes them think about a lot of different things. Travel, if that is associated with the job. So there's a lot of different things on here that will help them out in looking forward to that occupation. For some students, maybe they may change their mind because it's a lot more complex than they thought, right? But for others, they're gung-ho and this is the career that I want to do. Okay, and this is what I have to accomplish. Cool. So now you can help them guide them towards that, right? And if you're in middle school, this is great to talk about before they get into high school, because then you can start talking about CTE courses that will help out your counterparts over in high school, right? That's what I'm trying to do here, is trying to help these kids so that they are already well informed. And again, it will be ahead of everybody else, right? So that way their kids are more informed already. Then you move on to part 3, which is the graphic organizer. Now, if they do this correctly, then their paper is going to have a minimum of 9 paragraphs. What? Yeah, I know, 9 paragraphs. I get it. Yeah. Some of you are still giving them only 5, which is cool. This is set up for 9. Okay. Again, this is middle school that I'm in, and I'm just trying to help my kids. Yes, this is very rigorous for them at 9, but when they get into high school and they ask for less than 9, it's kind of piece of cake for them. So I'm trying to get them to a point of getting to know that they have the ability to write as much as they're writing, and a 5-paragraph essay should be really easy for them if that's what they're writing in high school, right? After that, then you have your part 4. After the graphic organizer is done, then for some of you who are trying to stay away from computers and they're just physically writing it down, I left some paper here as far as like how to go about or where they can write it down on this so that it stays within your theme. And then finally, you have your paper rubric, and the rubric is here as well. Now, if you want to extend this, you can, and you can see behind me here that some of the students, like for this particular one, I believe did Stanford. This one did Vanderbilt, you can see there. The one behind me here on the bottom is for a career, and actually, yeah, for a career, that's what we're talking about. I forgot. We're talking about career here because of the careers in colleges. I have them. We do that together. So I'm talking careers in colleges a lot with these 7th graders. So there are different project types that you can choose from here because some of your students may need some help as far as like coming up with ideas for their project. But I have given them much liberty in choosing the way that they want to do it. And I'll talk about that towards the end of this video. But the next one that we have is the college one. So the college journey has basically almost the same things, but the research is going to be different. First, it's going to start off with a part 1 that has, again, the preliminary research of 5 different colleges that they are interested in talking about. Because sadly, I've had students come in here and they only knew of 1 college. This really pushes them to start thinking about all these different colleges and whatnot. I usually time this around the colleges and careers. I usually time this around March when I do this because we have March Madness going on. So if they're basketball fans or if they just look at the products that are out there, there's a lot that can tie into March Madness. So they'll start seeing logos of schools. That's where you want to capitalize on that, right? And using that to your advantage. So here, part 1 again, they have the preliminary research on 5 different colleges or universities or even trade schools that they're interested in. Then you have a part 2. Once everybody has chosen their part 1 or their particular college or career, just like we talked about at the beginning of this video and how we narrowed it down for part 1 there, you'll do the same process here. Then you'll go to part 2, which is again research on this, but the research questions on here are going to be different. It's going to be talking about the school colors, mascot. It's going to talk about the different college, the different classes, the classes of emphasis, the differences between a dorm and an apartment, what FAFSA is, all of these different things that they are needing to know of when it comes to college and college life, right? Even alumni, to make it a little more fun. Then it goes into part 3 once they're done, again, into a graphic organizer, just as I mentioned with the previous one with the careers. And then again, you have, depending on whether or not you're gonna be going MLA format, or if you're gonna be writing it physically, that's going to be here for you as well. And then of course, this also has the rubric. And then extension, which is part 5. If you would like to extend this, which I have done, again, which I've shown you here, some of those different things. Oh, and here's one that a student just recently made. She wants to be an anesthesiologist. So she made this nice big cardboard of the needle itself. That's pretty cool, but wait, there's more. Look at that, you turn this thing around and she put all of this information as far as how to become an anesthesiologist, of what steps that they need to go through. So again, this is all part of that personalization. She wants to be an anesthesiologist, great. I'm gonna give her an opportunity to talk about and to research the things that she needs to do in order to get there. I'm telling you, we're trying to give opportunities to these kids and get them advanced as much as possible. Here's the thing to do it. I think that is it. I hope I've answered a lot of your questions. Thank you if you have purchased this or for even just taking the time to look at this. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. If you are again interested in purchasing these, I left a link in the description here. Thank you so much again for helping me out. Please subscribe if you have yet to do so. Get us on that road to 500. And until the next one, be the light and salt. Bye for now.